SaGa Emerald Beyond, the latest entry in a long-running Square Enix series that has its root on the original Game Boy way back in 1989. But in spite of this long history, the series never found its mainstream success, unlike its sister series, Final Fantasy. Some say this was because the series having so many elements so unlike other JRPGs, like a less focus on epic narrative and instead opt for non-linear questlines that may or may not have anything to do with each other, and even more non-linear character progression where level-ups aren't done from grinding easily in battle. For better or worse, SaGa Emerald Beyond is basically all of the weird things found in a SaGa game and turns up to 11. Aesthetically speaking, the game is probably the closest to the series' previous title, Scarlet Grace, where the overworld looks like something out of a picture book and you trigger events by going to nodes placed somewhere within the overworld. Though unlike Scarlet Grace, there is basically no exploration to be had. The game points out the destination you have to go next, and at best you only have options to visit optional places before tackling the mandatory ones, and these optional options may or may not change the way later events play out. There are 5+1 duo of protagonists to choose from, and aside from the interaction at the very end of the playthrough, the main narrative takes a backseat to the short stories of the 17 different worlds the protagonists choose to travel to. And depend on a lot of factors, the events that can occur within these worlds can change massively. These factors don't stop at just the main character you are playing with and the choices you make while playing, but also some invisible factors like whether the world you visit is a required one in the main character's story or not, or the number of playthroughs you have had. Even replaying the same character, visiting the same world can give you wildly different events and storylines, which helps to make the game feel more like a choose-your-own adventure book than a traditional JRPG. These different worlds and its many story variants do offer a lot of replayability to the game, and it's honestly pretty cool to see what seems like a mystery or seemingly a plot hole in one playthrough get expanded upon or answered in another one. Anytime this happens, there's always a very nice "oh, so that's what this is all about" feeling to it. You may even get to understand the backstory of one protagonist better by visiting their home world with another one. The game really shines with multiple playthroughs. However, due to the nature of this kind of narrative structure, there is no guarantee that the player can experience the good stuff, and the quality of writing can differ very wildly even with events within the same world that the game could feel rather aimless at times. If you expect your standard JRPG with epic storylines with dramatic twists and turns that give plenty of characterizations and craft to the main cast, then yeah, you unfortunately ain't gonna get it with SaGa Emerald Beyond. But if you see the game as an anthology of short choose-your-own adventure stories and just sit back and relax and enjoy whatever random bullshit the game throws at you, then yeah, the game is pretty decent at this.
War with the Warden, go to hell salon! War with the Warden, I'm your new boss! Skulls and ichor and graves and rats! Everyone hates a bureaucrat!
But the most important thing that sets it apart from other games, even those within its own series, is the battle timeline. At the start of a turn, everyone is laid out on this timeline right here, and depending on the actions, the characters can move up or down the timeline. Some actions can even change the positions of other characters too. Then, if you manage to connect characters' actions together on the timeline, they will change their actions together into one big united attack that gets more powerful as more characters get involved in the attack. The united attack can even be repeated again and again if you manage to push the overdrive gauge past a certain threshold, or if you can manage to squeeze a character into some isolated part of the timeline with no other ally or enemy into square range vicinity, then they can go into the showstopper attack mode, where they can chain their own attacks into each other. The enemies can also utilize the same system, so you really have to pay attention to the timeline and what the enemies intend to do if you don't want to lose the battle. This is especially important because the game has no healing whatsoever. Each character can have up to 8 attacks equipped, and each tech has their own BB cost, their own range of movement and effect on the timeline, as well as different properties of the tech being an active attack or a conditional reaction. And this is not even getting into different types of weapons with even more different properties and bonuses. Even the character races affect their craft as well as how they fight. Human is the most common and standard character type, and the one that can randomly climber new techs in the heat of battle. Cooldowns are locked to one weapon type, cannot climber techs on their own, instead resort to mimicking moves done by other characters in battle. Monsters are locked to not just specific weapons, but also armor, and can only change accessories. They also cannot climber techs, instead utilizing monster techs whose souls got trapped in relic accessories. And lastly, their smacks whose entire kit from stats to techs are determined by the weapons you equip on them. And then there are also different roles you can equip on the characters, and different battle formations that offer further bonuses. All of these combined with the ever-changing nature of the plot that may or may not give you various sorts of equipment and allies throughout your playthroughs make the combat incredibly freeform. There are so many ways to customize how you approach battle that I just can't get enough of it, even after more than 90 hours and 7 playthroughs. Though it also must be said that seeing your carefully thought out plan being ruined because of an enemy's unexpected interruption, or an enemy just to hit one of the characters that act as a link between others and see everything goes to waste, gives a very consistently horrible feeling. And you will experience this horrible feeling a lot. This game can be very brutal at times, especially during some plot important fights. Almost unfairly so at times. This is still a SaGa game after all. The graphics look a little bit cheap and the UI is quite slow and clunky, but if you're a long-time fan of the SaGa series or enjoyed SaGa Scarlet Craze Ambition a lot, then I can't see you not liking Emerald Beyond. Or if you just want to try out JRPG that does a lot of things differently, then there's a demo readily available on all platforms so you can test out and see if the game is to your liking. To me, the game was an incredible wild ride and scratches an itch that no other JRPG series could do, and I am super excited to once again experience Romancing Saga 2 when the remake drops later this year. That game was incredibly ahead of its time and can't wait the remake to introduce that wild ride to the modern audience once again. 2024 is a very good year to be a SaGa fan.